Hi, sailors. This is Beth Crabtree with SpinSheet Magazine. We're here for another Start Sailing Now Extra. That's where we interview one of our people who was profiled in our Start Sailing Now page. Today, we're here with Alana Haddox, and she is profiled in our May 2021 issue of SpinSheet. So, welcome, Alana.
Hi.
So we're so happy to have you here. As you know, we always like to talk to people who took up sailing when they were adults because some people feel like, well, if I didn't grow up in a yacht club, I don't know if I could be part of that group. And
Yeah,
that's absolutely not true. And you're living proof of it.
completely. I'm so glad that I came across sailing and got to give it a try. And I do exactly know where you're coming from when you say that because, it never even occurred to me that I could start whenever, or if I didn't get into it as a child, that I could pick it up and go full force into it.
Yeah, and you almost stumbled across it, right? Having like a deep conversation with a friend who was a sailor who said, I think you might like this.
Yeah, and it was just like that, He was a sailor at one point and he just had such passion in his voice when he was talking about it. And he just looked at me and said, I really think that you'd enjoy it. Why don't you give it a try? I know someone, you can go out just for fun and see, what it's like. And the very first race that I went on, it was a fun race just on the Miles River, and it was so windy. The boat, going on its side basically, and three boats coming to a intersection all at one moment and just gliding right by each other. And I was just, my adrenaline was pumping, I was excited, it was everything that it could have been, definitely hooked me right away.
So one of the things I know that I told you that I wanted to ask you about was you haven't had any formal lessons. Can you just talk a little bit about what that's been like?
Yeah, I'm definitely a hands-on learner. I do think that taking a course could be super beneficial and maybe give me some more intellectual experience, right? Book smarts on what I'm doing. But having just jumped on the boat and learned directly from my teammates who have been doing it for years, who have this personal experience, can say, hey, Elena, look at this. This is how I do this. Or, and then coming together as a team and talking about it and kind of talking through it, trying out different things, seeing what doesn't work and what does work, and kind of just like gaining that experience, and that for me helped me catch on faster. You learn while doing it because you're always under new circumstances or have different variables affecting the sailing conditions, and that you might do something one way when there's no wind, but then on a day when there's a lot of wind, you're going to do that same task completely different, and you might not be able to grasp that in a classroom.
And I love what you were getting at, that what went well here, what went well there, what didn't go well. The person is like, okay, on that, that turn, I totally lost what I was supposed to be doing. I accidentally let go of the line. And there's, it just, I love that kind of debriefing and learning from each other.
It's so nice. It really is. I'm big on constructive criticism, and I've played many sports. I played lacrosse for 10 years. I ice skating, volleyball, track and field, you know, but the debriefing in sailing feels so different than the debriefing on the lacrosse field after a game.
Yeah, that's great. So I guess the last thing I'd probably ask you is if you just have any general advice. I know you said if you're a new sailor, try to get on different types of boats. Any other advice you'd have for someone that it might be hesitant but thinks they'd like to try sailing?
Yeah, if you're nervous, go with somebody that knows how to sail. Don't feel the pressure of, oh, I've got to go on a boat with, or go to a class with all these inexperienced people, or maybe get on a boat with someone that hasn't been sailing that long. You can always show up and find someone that has a little bit more experience. And like you said, sailors want to share their knowledge and share their experience. So it's just a kind of about jumping in and get your toes wet. It's the water can be intimidating, but then once you get in it, it feels great. So, and
Yeah.
if you're nervous because you're not a strong swimmer, wear proper equipment, wear a nice life jacket, have that secondary knowledge that, look, even if you go overboard, people are going to come back for you.
Absolutely. And if you're racing, you have to end with the same number of people you started with. So there's that
so
incentive.
We can't leave you behind no matter what.
Okay, well, Alana, it's been so nice talking with you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And
You're so welcome.
Yeah, we hope to see you out on the water.
Thanks. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks.